live here. Wow. Many miracles are happening. All right. Okay. We're live also on Instagram. We're live on Facebook, live on Instagram. We're now live on, no, we're also live on Clubhouse. Beautiful. Batya and Dilma. Good morning and welcome to Andrea, David, Celeste, Loz, Rachel, Michael, Adam, Nicole, Jay, Reza, Lebanon, Josh. Beautiful. And I'm going to lose the feed on Facebook the way it is on my laptop for some reason. Michael in Germany, welcome. Usher is with us in Tennessee. Dam in Indonesia. Andrea in Phoenix. Who else is with Rusty in Texas? Diane, traveling. The traveler, Diane. John in North Carolina. Good morning and welcome. TJ all the way in Australia. Liba. Davida in New York. Clem in Brisbane. Eugenia in Calgary. Elisheva's in Tennessee. June in Australia. DL in Gainesville, Devon. All right. Sounds like you're divine. Tim in Texas. Rena in Colorado. All right, folks. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Believe it or not, we are. Once again, Instagrammers. Sorry. Livsha is with us in Baltimore, Maryland, in Florida. Oh no, in Delaware. Okay, in Peru. Yehuda's with us. Yantitila Benta. Yehuda in England. Rachel in South Carolina. And some others. Okay. We conclude the 7th chapter, speaking about Yichud, Ilah, Yichud, Tata, a higher level of unity, a lower level of unity, 2 levels. The beginning of the chapter was about the higher level and the lower level. And lower level sometimes sounds, it's lower. But as we will progress, we will see that there's something unique and even much more special about it. But in today's lesson, we are given an understanding about cheshbon. Cheshbon. Cheshbon means mathematics. And it's about the contraction of the God's infinite light and the various levels of contraction. So yesterday we spoke about that you can take that God, he animates with a breath, which has an equality to it, an encompassment of it. There's no distinction. And then there's the utterance, right? Which we'll go more into, which is a crucial component, because that's where we get distinction. That's where you get letters that make up words. The breath helps to verbalize, but doesn't make distinction. It's the the mouth, the teeth, the tongue, the palate, the larynx that makes distinction in letters, in the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, and for that matter, for all language. But now there's another thing. Oh, and from letters, See, there's the original letters of the words, letters that make up words, that try and tie in with Rambam, yesterday's Rambam, need two letters minimally to make up a word. Like father is Av, mother is Aim, right? Aleph Beis, Aleph Mem. They're two letters minimum to make up a word. And that word is, of course, the animating force of everything in creation. So you can take from the word or, light, and shemesh, you take an aleph and a shin, that's called a combination of letters, right? And take an aleph from here and a shin from here, you have the word eish, fire. Fire was a discovery. It wasn't there originally. I mean, it was there to be discovered, right? And likewise, everything in creation that is not mentioned in the 10 statements of creation are a combination of letters or a substitution of letters. That's what we learned previously. We're going to learn more about that. But now there's another thing called the gematria, the numeric value of a letter. In other words, it's not the value of the letter itself, but it's its number. Just to make this, and I'm sorry, make this very not palatable, but to bring the idea out. The Nazis, Yimach Shemo, made their name be obliterated, the Nazis. May every Nazi be obliterated. What did they do? I mean, obviously, you know what they did, horrific things. What they did is take a person who was a person and reduce him to a number, right? And a number tattooed on them, a number. That just shows what it means to reduce something, someone. So the same idea exists in creation. I mean, where's that idea come from? It's because in creation there's that concept. In other words, there's the reduction of the letter that animates, the word that animates something, and to show on a lower reduction, it's not even the letters anymore, it's the numeric value that now becomes the life force, the numeric value of the letters, not the letters themselves. Again, this is, of course, a metaphor for us to understand, because it's not letters themselves, the physical letters, it's the spirit of the letters that is what's the animating force. So it is a reduction of, and showing on the contraction on the divine light. So what's the metaphor we can understand? It's not the letter itself, but it's a numeric value. So the Alter Rebbe gives an example of this, of a stone. In Hebrew, stone is Evan. Evan. The Evan is spelled Aleph Beis Nun. So if you take the base and the Nun, their numeric value of 52. Well, that's called Shem Ban. That's the tetragrammaton, the Yud Ke Vav Ke, the Yud and the He and the Vav and the He. When you spell it out, one of the ways you do it, it spells it to 52. So it's the numeric value of the name of God, right? Not the name of God or the letters from the name of God, right? Or the letters from other, divine forces that are animating forces, but it is the numeric value together with an aleph. So that's 52. That's base and nun, and then together with that, an aleph, as the Alter Rebbe says, is known to its creator. The meaning of that now becomes a vital force that's internalized. That is a diminished light of God, a contracted light of God, so much so that it's so diminished that what comes out on the other end of the creative force is an Evan, a stone, not a plant, not an animal, not a human, but a stone. Just to bring out the idea of again, of the numeric value. So again, each letter is a power of divine creative force. It undergoes a contraction. The greatest, the most powerful force are the ones that are in the 10 utterances. So the sun and the moon, only one of them. Even when it comes to creating animals or vegetation, it's not about a specific animal that the 10 utterances speak about. It speaks about the power of creating the animal kingdom. The specifics are not there in mention. They will then be combinations, substitutions of combinations of letters, substitutions of the original letters, right? That again are a metaphor to show on the come down on the divine force that's animating them. And then ultimately, the gematria, the numeric value, the cheshbon of it, it shows on the quality of a created being. Now, quality we mean over here of how much divine light is revealed. So the greater the contraction, the less the divine light is revealed. And therefore, when you look at a stone, well, of course, compared to an animal, or even more so to a human being, the divine light is much more contracted, and therefore we don't sense the divinity as obvious as I hope we do in a human being, right? Or as we do in a animal or even in a plant. All right, question, comment. I see David has a question. Was Moshe the only one who allowed to change a name by adding a letter when he did it for Yoshua? I mean, parents call their children, give them a name. And that's why the Talmud tells us that parents have a divine prophetic vision, that they're able to know exactly what the name of a child should be, because that's going to be their divine life force that animates them. Yeah. Thank you, Davida, for that question. Any other questions? I don't see on Instagram. I don't see on Instagram. And I don't see on Clubhouse. Okay. Guess what, folks? Tomorrow, we continue our conversation as we go into the next chapter in our discussion. Folks, God bless you all. Thank you all for participating, being a part.
Thanks, Rabbi. Both David and I.
Thank you. Yehuda is asking, what happens if a person changes their names? Thank you, Yehuda. Very good question. What happens if a person, God forbid someone is sick, there's a tradition to add a name. Why do we do that? You figure it out now. Because you're giving a new divine life force to this person. By adding a name, you don't change a name, you add a name. Right? Like Chaim means life, or Chaya, life. Right? Or Raphael, God's healing. You add, right? Is it okay to use your Hebrew name at all times? Of course, preferred. By the way, my Hebrew name and English name are the same. Ronnie. All right. You had a beautiful question. Rachel, thank you. Yes, use your. Wonderful. Rachel. Okay, that's it. No more Rachel. Rachel. If I recall correctly, right? Rachel's the English, but that's the Hebrew. Imagine. All right, folks. Wishing you an amazing day. We will continue our conversation tomorrow. God bless you. Be well.